The end is near, and the age of artificial intelligence is upon us. Well, it's not like real intelligence was abound in Hollywood. I'm Troy from Marks on Movies, and today we're talking about AI writing the script for a sequel I've been anticipating for years to the movie Brightburn. Now, on with the story. The link to the Screen Rant article I'm covering can be found in the video description. Referencing an earlier article from Deadline, Brightburn 2 in development, sequel to James Gunn-produced Superman riff, is doing something controversial. A sequel to a James Gunn-produced superhero movie is still in development and will incorporate new technology like AI and the metaverse. A Brightburn sequel is still in the works and will incorporate new technology during its development. Produced by James Gunn and co-written by his brothers Brian and Mark Gunn, Brightburn puts a dark twist on Superman by following a young boy of extraterrestrial origin who crash lands in Kansas, but instead of becoming a hero, begins using his superpowers for sinister purposes. Despite mixed reactions, the movie was a modest success at the box office, grossing $32 million on a small budget, and almost immediately after its release in 2019, there was talk of a sequel. There was talk of a sequel literally because in the credit scenes, they were showing that there were evil versions of Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and other DC heroes that we'll get to later, so that kind of set stuff up in people's minds. I mean, I guess we could all just assume that these evil-powered people would eventually make themselves known, take over the world, and humanity would be screwed. Because, apparently, there's not even one single good superhero in the world, only supervillains. But I think that this could be a pretty cool franchise, especially with the success of things that came out after Brightburn, like The Boys and Invincible, which explores similar themes. By the way, I know that the comics for The Boys and Invincible were out way before the release of Brightburn. Don't at me. I'm talking more about the success of an on-screen adaptation, not in written form. Either way, back to the article. Now, 4 years after its release, a Brightburn sequel is still in development, according to Deadline. The H Collective, the production company behind Brightburn, is launching a new label called H3 Entertainment, which will incorporate new technology, such as artificial intelligence, the metaverse, and Web3 into its projects. One of those projects will be a sequel to Brightburn. During a time when writers and actors are on strike, fighting for protections against AI, one of H3 Entertainment's founders ensures that it will respect professionals and fans while promoting responsible technology integration. Look, you can only do so much. I really don't know much about H3 Entertainment and how much money they may or may not have, but CGI has absolutely sucked on a majority of films in the past 5 to 7 years. Writing on most films has sucked in the past 5 to 7 years. It's also not getting any better. Everyone is rushed, they're most likely underpaid, they're serving a ton of masters all at the same time, and products are suffering because of it. AI is the way of the future. It just is, and a few people chanting, holding up signs, and refusing to work isn't going to change that. People in the automotive industry are figuring that out. People in fast food are figuring that out. Not so much with AI, but with self-serve kiosks. And people in retail are figuring that out with self-checkout lanes. You either evolve or you die. They can whine and cry and slam their fists on the table all they want, but that's the way it is. I'm not saying any of this is fair either. I'm not defending any particular side here. And I already said that the production teams and writers may, at times, be underpaid. But, on the flip side, I'm sure most writers that are screaming and crying the loudest are paid more than 95% of Americans get paid to put out a product that should honestly have them unemployed. So there's a flip side to every issue. It's not all black and white like a lot of shills for the writers are having you believe. Now, let's finish this article up. Everything we know about the Brightburn sequel. Though it appears to be a standalone origin story, Brightburn's post-credits revealed that there are also evil versions of Aquaman and Wonder Woman in its universe, setting up an evil Justice League in a potential sequel. Soon after its release, James Gunn was the first to reveal that a Brightburn sequel was being discussed. Shortly after, Brightburn star Jackson A. Dunn, who plays the titular character, said that he wants a sequel to feature more up-and-coming actors like himself as the evil versions of Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and others. In the subsequent years after its release, there wasn't any more talk of a Brightburn sequel, especially as James Gunn focused on The Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. whatever plans there were for a Brightburn sequel have seemingly fallen to the wayside now, with James Gunn as the co-CEO of DC Studios, where he is overseeing a new DC and writing/directing Superman Legacy. Despite that, a Brightburn sequel is still in the works from its original production company, an unexpected yet interesting development in the saga. That all sounds well and good. I could definitely see a Brightburn sequel doing well. It's not so much a novelty in today's day and age, with The Boys and Invincible out there, as I mentioned, but the one thing that Brightburn had on the other two is that it's not so much a raunchy dark comedy like The Boys, or a coming-of-age superhero cartoon with a bit of comedy mixed in, like Invincible. Brightburn was way more of a what if Superman were in a horror film kind of movie. That's what piqued my interest. Both comic book nerds and horror enthusiasts can appreciate Brightburn. It's a little too mature for an audience under 13, but it's not raunchy and inappropriate like The Boys. No offense to the show, which I love, but still. I gave my thoughts on AI and the writer's strike earlier, and while I've seen some pretty neat things being written by AI for comedic purposes, I'm not totally sold on it writing an entire big-budget Hollywood script. With that being said, James Gunn and his two brothers are still helping to write the script, and it's not going to entirely be on a computer program to write it all. This is where I think that the industry inevitably goes. This will save a lot of time and money, and may help writers close up the plot holes that they seem to be leaving in damn near everything nowadays. Is a Brightburn sequel needed? Probably not. I already stated earlier that we could just kind of imagine what comes next, but where's the fun in that? I also think that there's a pretty big cult following that really wanted this thing. The production company clearly wants it. I'm also super curious to see more about this AI writing, the metaverse, and whatever the hell Web 3 is. Comment down below with your thoughts on all of this. Did you like Brightburn, and are you excited for a sequel? What do you think of them getting AI to help write the script? Do you know what they're referencing about the metaverse and Web 3? And do you think that this film will burn bright or burn out? Let me know in the comments section. Also, please share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that little bell to be notified every time we post brand new content. I've been Troy from Marks on Movies, and we'll see you next time.